Gotta find a way.
Hi, I'm Chris Charlie, and this is Hurting, Living, Loving, Healing. So, as a reminder, everything that I talk about are anecdotes from my life. So, if you're experiencing something or need some help, please see a psychiatrist or a therapist. All right, let's jump into it. Today, we are going to talk about being present. We're going to talk about why it's important to be present, some anecdotes, some things that I think are useful, little tips and tricks. We're going to talk about challenges, what takes us away from being present, and then 8 things that you can do starting now to be more present in your life. All right. I'm a big believer in starting and ending with love. So let's just thank ourselves by name for joining. And then let's think of one thing that we love about ourselves and just kind of quietly give yourself some kudos, a little pat on the back, and think about that one thing for just a few seconds that you love about yourself, and then feel that love, that connection to yourself. And now we'll move forward. Okay, great. What was yours? Mine was empathy. I love that about myself. And it can be a blessing and a curse, believe me. And those of you who are empaths out there know just what I'm talking about. Okay, so why is being present important? Well, number one, we have much greater self awareness. Being present allows us to recognize and do things that take care of our future selves. Okay. Um, Emotional literacy and emotional intelligence. The more that we are connected in the now, the more in tune we are with our emotions. Being present really helps to reduce anxiety because so much of what takes us away from being present are things like dwelling in the past, ruminations, fearing something in the future, stressing about something that we don't have any control over. So if we're present, then we are focused on one thing, and that's this moment. There might be multiple things in this moment. Or maybe you're getting chased by a lion, and then that could be very stressful. But chances are you're not. So you've got those chemicals in your brain for when you do, but we don't need to use them when we're not in those heightened states of stress and anxiety. And so many of us end up in those states because of things like fear, anxiety, rumination. So being more present allows us to reduce those things. Um, Happiness, replacing negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Think of it this way. If life is a movie, we are quite literally the writer, producer, director, and actor of our own movie, right? Now, when we're younger, our parents, our teachers, um, older people around us might be more writers for us, more producers, more directors. And we are simply acting out as best we can based on these inputs that we're receiving. But as that baton gets passed as we get older and we're expected to do more, and as we become young adults and adults, then we really have ultimate control over those decisions. So, since that's the case, what movie are you writing? What script are you acting from? Just some food for thought. Another reason is more connection to people, greater connection to people, and that leads to deeper life, more and deeper connections, more friendships, greater wealth in the area of people and compassion, kindness. All these things come from people that are in our lives. So if we nurture those things, then we will be more fulfilled. When we're distracted, if we're talking, when we all know what it feels like to be talking to somebody about something that we're passionate or care about, and they're on their phones or they're staring off into space. It feels like they're not really connected to us. So if we go through life like that, we are disconnected. All right. So if we are more connected, we're going to have more vivid memories. We're going to have a deeper understanding of what's going on in this moment to give our brains more to process. So we're going to have more of a deeper database to pull from for our memories in the future. Getting back time from yourself. Ruminating, stressing, fearing, all these things, they take time. And when when we're not connected to it, they take a lot of time and I should say that, they can take a lot of time. There was a point in my life when I was a really angry person. And from the time that I woke up to the time that I went to bed, I was angry 75 or 80% of the time. And when I wasn't angry, I was not happy. I was barely content. I was just kind of getting by. And that has such a huge influence on the way that we see the world and then our actions. So, in terms of time, we're able to get back so much of that time, become aware of how we're spending that time, and then we can do more with it and be happier as a direct result. And then we're going to make better decisions. Better decisions is better for everyone around us and especially ourselves. And better decisions means more organized, more time to do the things that you like. And so those are the whys. Now, let's jump into some fun little anecdotes. This was said by Lao Tzu in 571 BC. Okay? If we're living in the past, we're depressed. If we're living in the future, we're anxious. But if we're doing our best now, we're taking care of both. Actually, his version was a little different than that. But the idea, the thought around that was derived from philosopher, Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. He said it 1 kajillion years ago today, mind you. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. And who said that? Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda 1, I guess I should say. Not a Chinese philosopher, but a Kung Fu Panda. But there's a lot of validity in that, and that's what we're talking about today. It all starts with now. This moment. This moment. This moment. There's been 3 moments since I started that. So no, but my point is that each moment is an opportunity to do something different. Each moment is a time to say, okay, I'm going to start thinking about the present. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to become less complacent. Whatever the case may be. Now, don't procrastinate. Now's the time, okay? We can't move backwards to go forwards, okay? We can't move backwards to go forwards. And what I mean by that is that it's so easy to think, oh man, I really wish I wouldn't have done that, or I really wish I had this time back, or I really wish that I was more like I was during this time. We look back with regrets. That's fool's gold. Okay, that's where that like depression comes from, right? I should have done this. Like, okay, we can't. We can't until we've got the time machine, the DeLorean, the whatever hot tub that is going to take us back to the point where we can change those moments, then we can't do it. So, what we can do is we can do our best now. And that takes care of what we're doing in history and then what we're going to do in the future. Because if we always do our best, then we might screw it up. We are going to screw it up. We're going to screw things up. If we come from a place of love, if we're coming from a place of connection, if we have a belief system, we're saying, you know what? I tried my best. I did my best. Then we can't do anything more. We can't do better than our best. Let's try to focus on the now, remove the thoughts about ruminations in the past, remove the things that we can't control in the future. And that's what we're going to give you some ways that we can do that. Okay. So, what are some of the things that get in the way of us being present? Yep. Number one, you guessed it, the phone, the social media, the gaming. I know that hurts, right? Because it's like the blessing and the curse. Um, but it is. I actually downloaded a game that I've been playing. I'm gonna find the most addictive game that I can find. I haven't been gaming for a long time. Not since I had kids. I always had a PlayStation or an Xbox or played some sort of app game. But it's been a while. It's been a decade since I really played any games consistently. So when I was preparing to do this episode, I went and downloaded the most addictive game that I could find. Actually, what I did is I downloaded 10 games and played each one for a few minutes and then picked the most addictive one. Okay. There's no hope for us in that regard in terms of taking it back. I mean, it takes our attention. It's like, I was like fiending to play this game. It was really hard for me to put the phone down. So I was like thinking about ways that I could gamify myself if I really was struggling with this and I wanted to spend less time playing it. And I thought, you know, maybe if I told myself I could only play while I was doing something else, like while I was cleaning up the house or doing something that didn't take, like not driving, right? Not talking to your spouse or your best friend or your whatever. But if you're at the park playing fetch with your dog and you're just throwing the ball or something, or if you're, dangling your feet in the water or you're cleaning the house or vacuuming or something, like that's something that you could do while you were doing that as a way to not just sit down and go crackhead style on this app because there's no hope for us. I mean, they're so distracting. They take us totally out of the present. And it disconnects us from reality. It disconnects us from reality and takes us into this world that's not true. And not only is it not true, but it doesn't even look true. It doesn't even be, there's nothing real about it. And so and then it replaces it with these little dopamine hits that totally tricks our brain into telling us that it's what we need to be happy. All right. So, um, um, disconnecting from social media and gaming and giving yourself that time back. It requires our attention. It requires our time. And those are two things that are extremely valuable in our lives. All right. Other distractions. Life. Life can distract us from being present. And it's just the way it is. And we have to carve out time so that being present becomes part of our life. Schedule 10 minutes for a meditation or a wind down or a hot bath or something that's just for ourselves where we can just be present. Avoidance. Some people, myself included, at times in my life didn't want to be in the present. I didn't want to be responsible for my thoughts. I didn't want to be responsible for what I was telling myself based on my life. Um, Apathy and ambivalence. Those are things that are more the absence of emotion, but losing passion, um, not connected, disconnected. These are all things that can take us away from being wholly and totally present. Ruminations slash overwhelming thoughts. These are difficult. These are something that I had when my head hit the pillow and it made it really hard to go to sleep. I would think about things that haven't happened yet. I would make the constellations out of stars. I would think about things that I had no control over. And in just 2 minutes, I would be in a completely different place, totally fearful of how I got there. And it wasn't even real. So staying in the present really helps combat letting your mind just go crazy. And that's what it tends to do. Thinks of the worst case scenarios, especially today in society where the world around us, media, social media, the news wants us to be scared. They want us in this place where we are easily controlled. Facts. It's just the way it is. Um, Intrusive thoughts. These could be things like something that we did was embarrassing. Um, Playing the what if game, negative spirals. I used to do things. I don't know if it was because I was an only child and I wasn't really good at laughing at myself when I was younger. I got really good at it, got really good at self deprecation, but in kind of this healthy way. And now it's just, oh yeah, I can do something stupid, say something stupid, and then laugh with you laughing at me, which feels really good. And that's a really good way to take some of the sting out, take the charge away from these things. Something that's embarrassing, the what if game. What if this happens? What if I don't make my number at the end of this month? What if you do? What if something totally different happens? What if you get a promotion? What if you get an offer for a different job? What if you find a lottery ticket and it just happens to have the winning number? I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen. So staying in our best intentions, staying connected and doing our best is the best thing that we can do for ourselves. All right. Um, Now, in terms of intrusive thoughts, things that are embarrassing, the what if game, it's that constant battle with our egos because our ego would make us think that all those things in our life are way more embarrassing than they actually are, or way bigger deal than they actually are, or way bigger deal than if it happened to somebody else. So a good little trick is that when you do something or if something happens, put yourself in the position and ask yourself if my best friend did this or my cousin or mom, dad, sister, brother did this and came to me and asked for my advice, what advice would I give them? That's the advice that I should give myself. It's always better for somebody else for some reason, but we are so hard on ourselves, or I am so hard on myself that whatever I'm telling myself, I'm so stupid. That person, I can never look them in the face again. Right? It's not even that big of a deal. The person, if there are other people involved in things that happen, they probably didn't even notice or won't remember tomorrow. Right? Okay. Um, Now, another quick thing. Laughing at ourselves, like I said, it can help take the sting away. Invite the fight. Bring it on. Don't push those feelings away. Come on, bring it on. What do you got for me? And then sit with those feelings. Sit with your feelings and then feel it through. That's what I like to say. Feel it through. If we push them away and we only get that little like sting, uh, we push it out and it comes back and it stings us. And then like that could happen for weeks, right? If we say, okay, bring it on. If we give ourselves 5 minutes to sit with it and feel it through, then at the end of those 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 10 minutes, we won't even feel it anymore, or it'll be much, much less abrasive. So invite the fight, feel it through, just bring it on, and then put it into perspective, right? Think of what actually is going on, what actually happened, the big picture. Am I going to care about this in a week? Um, really helps take the sting away. All right. Okay. Now, how do we become more present? 8 things that we can start doing when? Now. It's the time. Now's the time. All right. Meditation. For me, that's number one. Meditation is an ongoing, proactive thing that I do to keep my mind clear. You can download the Insight Timer, just sit in a chair and meditate. It's a great way to get started. And you're going to either do it or you're not. And there's no wrong way to meditate. I like to think of when I started, I like to think of my thoughts as like they were being blown by the wind, but just not attaching yourself to the thought. And after a while, they stop and it's really quiet in there. And it will actually be the quietest that your mind has been in a long time. And it's a pretty cool thing. Give yourself 20 minutes the first time, maybe the first few times. And then it's the opposite of exercise. Takes a while at first and then it gets shorter. Exercise, you can only go for 5 minutes at first and then you can go longer. It's the opposite. Mindfulness in general. Mindfulness is the mental state you are in simply by being aware of the present moment. Pretty simple, huh? Use your senses. How often do we in today's world use our senses and really think about it? Really think about it. What are we smelling? What are we tasting? So just slowing it down to take an inventory and don't wait. Do it now, right? The mental state we're in simply by being aware of the present moment. A good way to do this is through hearing. So close our eyes outside. If we just listen for a minute, there are so many things that come into our world that we're so not aware of because there's so many other distractions, and typically our sight takes over. And so what we're hearing is kind of secondary. Anyways, all right, that was number 3. So we've got number 1 is meditation, number 2 doing, number 3 mindfulness, number 4 slow it down. All right, slow it down. React versus respond, respond versus react. We control our thoughts. Our thoughts don't control us. So usually what happens is there's a situation, an emotion, a thought, and then an action. That's kind of the typical order of things. And so a lot of times it's so easy to get caught up in that, like, life is happening to me. I'm just reacting. I got a speeding ticket and now I feel crappy. Well, were you speeding? It's never about blaming. It's about ownership, in my opinion. What's blame? I mean, doing this, does that ever help? No, but taking responsibility sure does. Cause then we can realize that we have so much more agency over all these things. It's not just happening to us. Remember, when we're shooting the movie, we are the writer, we are the director, we are the producer, and right? So, situation, right? Number 4 was slowing it down. It goes situation, emotion, thought, action. Here's a hack. Flip it in reverse. Change the scene. Okay? Go out and do something. And then think about how that makes you feel, right? Then feel how it's making you feel. And then assess the situation now. That's a really good one because it's easy to just get up off of the chair, head out, change it up, and then take a little mental inventory. Okay. All right. Number 5, focus on our breathing. Really easy one. Goes hand in hand with meditation. There's a whole breath work is a whole thing. Wim Hof. Do we know him? He's a Finnish guy that does all kinds of awesome stuff, swims in the ice, holds his breath for days on end. Not that many, but long time. And incredible things that you can do with breath. And this is just the beginning, just awareness of the breath. Feel it going into your lungs, expanding to the body. It's one thing that we can focus on in the here and now to help us be present. Number 6, go join a stimulating conversation with another real person. Listen and talk and try not to wait to talk next. Just exchange like a game of tennis. Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. And if your turn takes 10 minutes, great. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to soak it in. And then maybe I'll go for 10 minutes, just aware of the moment in time, the connection, whatever else grows from the amazingness that can be a deep conversation. All right. Now, number 7, appreciate the small things. All right. There's an author, and I believe anyways, he's an author. I know that much. His name is Daniel Amen, and he's got a book called You, Happier. He's done lots of scanning of the brain. He scanned presidents, prisoners, murderers, all kinds of different people, comedians. So he looks at the brain and he looks at what lights up the brain. And so he's super qualified to tell us what makes us happy. And after a 3-hour podcast I listened to him in, they asked him, what's one thing that you would leave us with that we can do that can make us happier? And that's what he said. Appreciate the little things. Appreciate the little things. When your daughter or son wants to hold your hand, oh, the best, just the best. The hugs, a flower, bright and sunny day, rainy day, if that's what we want, a good meal, a soft blanket. Those things are all divine. And if we appreciate them or stop to appreciate them, then it's going to enrich our lives. My mom is really good at this. She is really good at appreciating the little things. So hats off to you, Mom. I am less good at it. I really have to take time to slow it down because, I like to go, but I also do like being cozy. I like being comfy. But my mom, she can get by with very little because she appreciates the little things. My grandma, her mom used to eat one chocolate square after lunch. I'd be like, that Hershey bar, gone. I would smash that thing in a day, right? If I had one of those big ones and those Hershey bars that had like, I don't know, how many squares does it have? 30, 40? Just one. Sometimes she'd take a bite and set it back in the cupboard, and then she'd come back and take another bite later. I don't know how. I don't have that kind of restraint. So something I'm teaching myself slowly. Okay. Number 8, and finally, relationship with ourself. Internal dialogue. Laughing, criticizing, but in a way that's like, this is how I do it. And I do this, and I do it out loud and quietly. I'll say, Chris, that was really good. You did a really good job helping out your friend get his stuff moved. You could have been a little bit more patient with him when he was trying to air out, but hey, man, there's always room for improvement, right? I mean, that helps us be in the present. And what's cool is that when we have a conversation and a dialogue with ourself, we get to determine how that conversation goes. So we can have a really guaranteed uplifting conversation with ourselves, right? And too often there's what happens, and then there's what we think, and then there's what we tell ourselves about what's happened. And maybe I did that out of order. There's what's happened, what we tell ourselves about what's happened, and then what we think, right? Because we get to determine that middle piece. And sometimes if somebody says something that you think is crappy, it's like, wow, really? Did they mean that? What I'm telling myself about that is that you don't like me. What I'm telling myself is that you're angry with me because of whatever. What I'm telling myself about that. So, what are you telling yourself about something? Well, that's a good thing to have that internal dialogue with yourself about. Anyways, you get that's just being present, acknowledging what's happening in and with you, a little trick to help you slow it down, being kinder to ourselves, and those 8 things that we can do today, right now, to help ourselves be more present. Okay, I'll repeat them one time real quick, and then we'll end with love and let you go on to your day. All right, number 1, ways to be more present. Meditation. Number 2, doing. Go out and do. Number 3, mindfulness. Number 4, slowing it down. Number 5, focus on your breathing. Number 6, go join a stimulating conversation with a real person. Number 7, appreciate the small things. Number 8, dialogue with yourself. Internal dialogue. All right. So let's thank ourselves. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate this time. I appreciate you doing something for yourself. I love you. I appreciate you. And thanks for watching and listening to Hurting, Living, Loving, Healing. Till next time, folks.
Every scar, every tear makes the picture clearer here. Shadows dance when the lights go dim. Every lost writes a verse within. I carry the weight, but it's teaching me. Every crack lets a light break free. Hurting, living, loving. That's the road I'm running. every scar, every tear.